Hello everybody and welcome to part 7 of my Islandception series. This will be the part where we reach Renaissance. Now whether we do that before or after we need to take another social policy remains to be seen. You can see the science lags 2 turns, but we do have universities going up. And we always have the option of pulling a writer out of the Writers Guild to reduce our culture intake by a little bit. By now you guys know the drill. We go through this every single series and even off camera. These are just the way the games go. It's a very crucial turning point. Okay, so this workboat is going to get dropped in York because York already has a market up. This one's heading over to Nottingham, which means we would need one more for Hastings, so long as we can have it and the harbor up in time for Renaissance, and it looks like that is the case, so let's go ahead and build that workboat. This worker was heading up to Nottingham just to finish it off. This guy was getting withdrawn because we have a longbowman to take its place, thanks to a very lucky ruin. We'll move this guy in the middle. He's technically the weakest now, but will soon be the strongest. Both configurations, I think, him being there is the way to go. Now in the last part, when I was withdrawing this boat, I forgot to get the completion of visibility down here, so let's do that now. Luckily we have time before astronomy to get that in. Oh, and look, this hill is available to us, so that's really good. We can get all the visibility here. I see a settler without having to barter for open borders. Trying not to do... Oh, look at this. Montezuma has declared war on Wuzetian. Too good. She had denounced him earlier. Oh, there's 2 notifications. Oh, okay. I was going to say, she had denounced him earlier. And in fact, he's still at war with Songhai, who is in fact on his borders. So I'm guessing what happened is Maria, you know, they have shared borders. She's getting pretty obnoxious with her religion, it looks like, which is fine. She's got the temples and the shrines, so we would want that religion to prevail as far as our own cities go. So it makes sense. She probably said, hey, Monty, you want in on this? And he's like, yeah, sure, but he doesn't actually have to do anything. It's just a gesture. I always hate it in games when I pay an AI to go to war for the purpose of occupying them, you know, whittling their armies, their shared armies down, etc. And then they just never send units. I hate that. So that's probably what's going to happen. But I'm sure Maria, if I remember correctly, whoops, wrong button. Yeah, Maria is on top of Wuzetian anyway, so that might actually work out for her. Go ahead and land here. You guys know I don't much care for plain grassland farms. They're good growth, but no hammers. It's like, you know, you're just kicking the can down the road. I'd like each of my citizens to do something meaningful. Alright, so because of altitude training, we can end up here and then go into the water next turn, or we can end here and go through. So we might be able to save a couple turns if we at least try. Yeah? Huh. So 30 gold to save a couple turns, probably not worth it, although do keep in mind we're on our way to astronomy, which means once the scout's finished up, he can hop into the water, head east, and find the other continent. We'll have caravels for that, but we also want the scout getting involved because the caravels can only find the outer limits, whereas the scout can explore internally. Now, I'm really surprised that she's kind of being like that because we did free that missionary earlier. You would have thought that would have counted for something. You freed their captured citizens. Yeah, so it's all green here. I'm not sure why she would insist on... And until that settler lands, she has 4 cities. So we can see the cities. We can see this is an like an interior coast, because we can see the exterior coast. So maybe that's it. She's bitter that her water access isn't complete. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's man that and then build the harbor. So now we are 1 turn away. That's very good. We'll go ahead and build the harbor here. In this city... Okay, yeah, the caravan's coming back. So let's We'll go ahead and slot these guys in, and let's build a granary here. The trade route, when it finishes, will end up here. London is kind of running out of food. York was running out of food. That's partially because of undeveloped tiles, which we're addressing now. But also they do have wheat and deer, whereas Nottingham only has wheat. Hastings only has deer. We don't want too many granaries going up right now, simply because happiness is going to be an issue. Keep in mind 3 of it is borrowed, and we're only going to have it for a little while longer. So we don't need these cities to keep growing. We withstood the initial boon of ocean resources with having to get optics so early. But how do we go from there? It would be nice if we could find more trade partners for our whales. So I'm hoping that by going astronomy, we're going to alleviate that to some extent. But the bottom line is that increasing the growth here by 4 food, increasing the growth here by whatever the food cargo ship does in Renaissance, that's going to be taxing to the empire as it is. So let's not go overboard. Because our science has been so good and we started from behind, we haven't really had a chance to get our trade routes populated, which is kind of bittersweet. Gold has been an issue as a result of coming from behind, and as well as, you know, happiness. But the fact is, we're flying, scientifically, we're flying through all the text, so we have to be very selective with what we do. And the fact that Monty's so strong right next to our land city is a feature of that. In fact, I've been wondering if it might have been better to just have a 3-city empire, but it seems like any time I've tried that, it felt conspicuously slower than 4-city, so I'm not so sure that was would have been any better. I'm just thinking that while our science might have been less, our risk would have been much less. We could have been focusing our build more on navy, you know, infrastructure things, more important things, instead of trying to fly by the seat of our pants, which has been what's been going on here. Okay, so we can populate this university now. What we can do in light of the happiness issues is move these pure growth guys to the hammers, and then let them off the leash as they get, like, as the cattle gets developed. It's a thought, because once we hit, let's see, harbor, 9 turns, and it would be nice to get an observatory up here, but the problem is going to be timing, because I want to go navigation next. So that's something to consider. Maybe what we do is we pre-build a market. Maybe we have time to squeak out. I don't know. I kind of want to think about that. My thoughts are going navigation after astronomy. It's 1 tech away. Ship of the line is strong. We can take Beijing, you know, with mostly just a navy, a few ships of the line, maybe a privateer to capture. I would just bring the caravels, but they're going to be off scouting the other continent. So, but the amount of time it would take to build that up, we could have this as a landing point first and then come here. That would be even better. This will fall pretty easily. Because what I was looking at is, with say 4 or 5 ship of the lines here, if she's got a ground force that's like attacking, we'll be able to plink at them. So not only will we maybe be able to take this city with just a navy, more or less, but also hold it with just at least at first. And that would help us because we are at an impasse here, and because this can be done almost exclusively with navy, we wouldn't be detracting from our holding forces over here. Meanwhile, establishing that navy, because do keep in mind we have 2 of the strongest unique units. However, longbows down here 18 and ship of the lines up here 35 right now. Those are devastating. Those would be very devastating. And we can have a few like surrounding Hastings to you know, plink at whatever attack he might send our way. But the reason why I was thinking about this is because down here he actually has coastal cities, right? And he's already down here to be attacking Songhai. Because what I'm looking at is, if you look at the science charts, he was ahead of us. He's going to continue to be that way. Now, as we're getting the universities and observatories up, we'll probably surpass him, but he keeps taking cities. He's developing his cities fairly well. So the old adage of, oh, we'll just get technologically superior and then stomp them, it's not going to work here. He keeps taking more land, settling more cities, developing the ones he has. He is truly a runaway civ because we're continents and he doesn't have enough people keeping him in check. So that will just plain never happen. So I'm thinking if we attack down here and we have a land force up here that can withstand whatever he might throw, he would probably be throwing some units down here, and our ships of the lines could be very effectively plinking them off. Because we will have longbowmen, and that's nice, but unless we have a large number of them and good blockers in front of them, because they're terrain limited, it's not like they don't have indirect fire. They have to be able to see the target themselves. And there's a good amount of hills through here, a good amount of roughage through here. So I'm just looking at a stalemate for most of the game if we don't do something, and I think favoring Navy might be the way to do that. So let me know what you guys think of that attack. So anyways, what I was looking at is the gap here of, because once we get to navigation, everybody's got to drop everything and start spitting out. Oh, that's what he could build in the meantime. Galeas. Okay. Yeah, because we have enough money we can support. Alright, I lost my brain there for a second. So I really do want to relook at this. If happiness is going to be a problem, we don't necessarily need this city growing. What we can do is have these two pure food guys go to these two pure production tiles, and then once the cattle is developed, move citizen over there. That'll be next turn. And because we're keeping Nottingham in pure production, we're favoring production in York, although that's a bad example. We're literally working every tile we can. I like that idea. I mean, even if we just did 1, 5, and 8, 8 and 7. Let's see how it goes. I definitely got to keep an eye on that, though, because happiness is going to be an issue. And I don't want to have a super strong navy that can't fight because we're in unhappiness. We still have Circus Maximus we can build at some point. Oh! Okay, that sweetens the pot. That's a must. Where was that built? Hopefully that was built in Beijing. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Yes. Okay. We gotta take Beijing now. Because the other thing I failed to mention is it wasn't just about getting another city. This is a very good city. It's got a good amount of growth, good amount of production, good amount of gold flow. And in terms of gold flow, it would be essential for us because they're our only competitor with Wales. When we hit astronomy, we'll have caravels, we'll be meeting other civs. We've already faced situations where she was kind of trade locking us here. So we'd have all those whales, which would help our happiness, which would help our gold. A duplicate, silk, of course, iron, horses. Like, we need this city. That's got to be the next step, I think. That is just too good. So in keeping with that idea, I'm suspending all trading of iron. It looks like all of our iron is going to be back within 8 to 10 turns, with the exception of one, which is 24 out. So that would be 9 iron. And that's really good. Because keep in mind, after we go navigation, while we're building up our navy and doing all that, we'll be researching up to steel so we can upgrade our blockers, upgrade our archers, maybe even then have to go to gunpowder, because keep in mind, Monty's down here, so we need to stay relevant relative to him. So that's the plan of attack. So we might need iron to get these guys up. Of course, once we get into gunpowder, that frees up irons. Maybe we make even more ship of the lines. I don't know, because the map as we see it, a navy is not going to be too useful overall. But I do think it's a way of addressing our current situation. So what's going on here? Montezuma has entered the Renaissance era. Well, luckily we are England, so this is kind of easy peasy. We'll send a spy to Tenochtitlan. and then we'll send one to London, because as we can see, we are relevant too. So anybody, any of these people that aren't willing to spy on Monty would be spying on us. Luckily this is a hill, we can just leapfrog over that guy, and it looks like we succeeded in outrunning that settler as far as being able to squeak out that extra visibility. Okay, we'll take a peek here and then start heading down, like maybe here. We're almost out of time, so yeah, so no more selling of iron, period. Luckily I'm still working that cattle tile because I forgot to have the worker finish it manually, but he did it on his own. Hopefully it's not one of those situations where it counts up the hammers first and then does the automated development improvements. I wouldn't think that it would be, but I've never tested it. Otherwise I robbed myself of a whole hammer down here. Oh no! Alright, so here we go. The big moment. One turn left on the seaport here, one turn, so everything is timing beautifully. Caravan is up here, so once the cargo ship comes back, so let's go ahead and rush out that harbor, because we want everybody building Galeases ASAP. But those city connections are pretty important. Okay. Let's see here. Hastings we'll get back to shortly, like maybe the Nottingham worker. We do have hills we can keep building in London. It's about to get a cargo ship. Tell you what, this hill is wooded, so let's go chop that down, and that'll get the observatory up quicker so we can get to Galeases quicker. And it looks like our trade route is wrapping up. Let's see here. One turn, yeah, he's just coming back now. So that means we no longer need eyes here. So let's go ahead and pull him back. We'll put him in Hastings to City Tile because he no doubt has higher maintenance costs than the composite bowman. And here we go. We get to celebrate what it's all been about, hitting that rationalism opener. This is what's going to be. This is going to be what gives us a fighting edge against the Aztecs. Luckily, they haven't come at us yet. And I take partial credit for that because we do have a starter army. Alright, so we get caravels, observatories, the ability to embark into ocean tiles and move faster while embarked. So as England, I think that means we're up to 5 for like civilians and such. In fact, we can see that here, 4 out of 5. 4 because it already allotted the movement points, and then 5 because reaching astronomy. But that's okay, we only needed 4 to get to this hill anyways, so there we go. Rationalism opener, go. Very nice. Okay, horses ended. If we can find a buyer for that, we will definitely take part in it. So on to navigation. Build here. I do think it's important that we get the observatory up, at least in this city right away. This city will forego so that we can get our navy up and running because our expands can't produce as well as the capital. So we'll have to do what we can. Alright, so let's go ahead and upgrade these fellas. There they are. Okay, and that appears to be everything for the turn. Very well. Luckily, we only have 9 turns to deal with the AI bugging us about our iron. Although it hasn't been happening yet, so that's good to see. We're just going to keep all of it. Send a detachment over to China. Maybe Monty sees that as an opportunity to attack, so having, you know, just a few boats around here that can shoot onto land would be good. Alright, so I think what I want to do scouting wise is have this guy go due west and then this guy head southwest, and if we do happen to locate the other continent, we can, you know, coordinate our efforts. For example, here there's a diagonal of clouds. So let's say 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This is the diagonal we want. How far can he go? So 2 down and then over there, that's where we want. So we'll basically head southwest until we need to head west to complement his visibility. More or less. We don't need them necessarily right on top of each other, but whenever we do happen to locate the other continent, that would be the time we need them to coordinate. Alright, London's getting fed. It said 14 turns until growth. Now it says 6. So, yeah, happiness is about to be an issue. Hastings will grow. At that point, we can kind of lock up its growth. We're already kind of locking up Nottingham's. York, you know, that's going to be based on when this worker finishes up and stuff. So we'll pull him out of there and put him in there. I wasn't watching the GPT. I assume it's favorable, though. Okay, good deal. Let's go find that other continent. Let's find some other trade partners, some city-states, get some gold. Now, I do want to point out, I think it's normal when you're playing continents to try and conquer the continent you're on and then meet other folks. But the problem is we're not going to be able to conquer Monty anytime soon. So getting more trade partners, especially if we're looking to take over the remaining whales on this continent, is probably going to be a good thing. Montezuma is plotting against Maria, so that means we should let her know that. It means we can now see his city. We see knights and trebuchets, so like I said, we kind of know where his tech is. If he's in Renaissance, there's a very, very good chance he entered Renaissance by way of gunpowder. So, yeah, once our navy's up, we are definitely going to need to... Okay, so there's the growth. Let's go ahead and lock up this city. Happiness is going to be a problem, number one. And number two, we need to pump out a navy pretty much now. And this city still wants to be able to build an observatory. That's the only reason why I am tempted to just let it keep growing. I mean, that's a thought. The only problem is, once it does grow, all we got left is more hills. So, let's see. Growth in 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do as far as that goes, because we're down to 0 happiness, and it's going to become realized very shortly. Like here, I'll finish this tile, but I'm not going to move a citizen. Oh my goodness, that's so good. 1, 2. Oh, and it gets better? Oh my gosh, we just hit 0 happiness technically, and we found a natural wonder that is a double tile, so that's 2 free happiness, global happiness, and we've already found somebody from the other continent. I had no idea. Maybe it's because we're England and we can move so much quicker. I don't know, but this is great, especially since he does have a unique luxury. Now keep in mind that's our last whale, so if we meet somebody else... In fact, I should just go ahead and look at that. Whales are coming back in 6. 2 of them. One that was traded to the Aztecs for spices. Maybe if we find somebody more favorable to trade with. And the other one was out for gold, the one to Ethiopia. So that means the one that comes back from Ethiopia will just be for more happiness. So I guess happiness isn't as bad as it looked. So let's do this. Now, as far as the timing, it says 6 turns, and we're going in 4, 5, 6. London is currently even, so I think its next growth will be unhappiness. So yeah, in 5 turns we'll hit unhappiness, and then a turn later. So there will still be a gap, but I don't think it's a problem that we should just stop growing Hastings over. Oh, he's got movement left, doesn't he? Sure does. Okay. A ruin. A barbarian boat, another ruin, and a barbarian camp. Okay, this was a very productive boat move. Let's just take a look at these ruins here on a level with Hastings. So we'll have him jump in the water, go check that out. We got enough of a holding force here. Our military store keeps going up, you know, caravels, then Galeas's ships of the line, upgrading to... Yeah, we're going to be constantly upgrading our military score. So, wow, that's really great. So, what this means is, and he's actually on a level of the cloud. So that means we should be able to easily calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, and then head due west to complement. Now we're going to try to keep these guys... Oh, I see city-state border. We're going to try to keep these guys in deep water as much as possible, especially with barbarian boats floating around. I mean, obviously we would be overpowered. In fact, let's just look at that. Yeah, very favorable exchange rate, but we don't know when we're going to get back to places we can heal up. So let's try to avoid damage. Let's just stick to strictly scouting with these guys. In fact, I'm already noticing... Okay, so we did meet Genoa. Okay. I was just going to say I'm noticing that because this looks like a broken up land, he's going to want to go south, which means we need this boat to grab the visibility over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could go down, but then we'd be diverted. I don't think we need to be super complete. Let's just do what we can. 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not going to get any more visibility here. So maybe have this guy head down here. Okay, that seems good. So that means this guy can start heading down here. Yeah. Okay, didn't quite reach deep water, but that's okay. Okay, so this looks like more of like an outcropping, kind of like this island over here where the shallow waters are connected. So we don't know that how close the actual continent is. And this would explain why we were able to meet somebody so early. Still, I like it. Losing grasp on Antwerp. Antwerp desires citrus. Well, I guess what? We have somebody who has citrus here. And, let's see, whales are coming back in 13. Now, if you'll recall, I wanted to lock that up, but we don't know if she's going to have citrus in 13. Meanwhile, if we are eyeballing Beijing, we will have duplicate silk at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and trade away the silk for citrus here. And that will get this city-state. Oh, we might actually become allies with that city-state. That would be so good. It's a happiness city-state. So we'd get their dyes, we'd get porcelain. And this one wants porcelain. That would ramp up our... Oh my gosh. Let's hope that goes through. That's something I'd be willing to throw a little money at. But I'm pretty sure the satisfying of the quest will be 40 rep, and that's... Oh wait, I'm looking at 31. That would put us to ally, but not enough to top them. So yeah, I definitely would be willing to throw a little money at that. 250 gold to get all that happiness. Now Maria would get upset, but forget her. She's already shown that she's not pleased. So do we spend the money now in anticipation of that? I say no, just on the off chance that she happens to get some rep with them this turn. I wouldn't want to have thrown that money away. The only reason I was considering doing the money first is because I'm guessing, I don't actually know this, but I'm guessing that because the money is an active gaining of rep, like she would take more exception or more notice perhaps, whereas this is more of a passive. I don't know that's the case, but I do wonder. So what that means is we could actually grow this city now. Well, no, because with the caravan, with the granary, this city is going to be growing outside of its own tiles anyways, because I'm not going to do these up. So I'll probably have this guy come do like a lumber mill. Also, we got to keep in mind 2 turns until we might pick up this. So we'll have him hop up here, and then if we do grab that tile, he can come down here and do it. So, and this will speed up the observatory by a turn. Very good. So yeah, oh my gosh, the chain reaction that would do. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. Okay, harbor is up. Let's start making galleasses. I'm really pleased to see that our happiness is not going to be an issue. Now, keep in mind, we're just going to be on the tippy of getting allyship, and we definitely don't want to get a false sense of security, because that will be borrowed happiness, but nevertheless, we're on the other continent. We're going to meet new trade partners. We're going to take over Beijing. It might end up being that happiness is not going to be a problem for a good long while, especially now that taking Beijing would mean the capture of Notre Dame. That would be huge. Citrus connected for Antwerp. Okay, another city connection established. Citrus connected for Antwerp. Which means they are indeed just 11. We do this. Now we could do the 500, but we are definitely going to need some money for the upgrade of galleasses to... let's see, it's 150 per, right? And with the city connections going up everywhere, you know, we just got one that got recognized this turn. Next turn we'll have that one. The turn after that, or 2 turns, I don't know. So our gold per turn is going to do fairly well, I think. And we don't know, like right now it says 5 here, 5 here, but as we grow, this time might get cut down. So we don't actually know how many galleasses we'll spit out before the construction project just converts to ship of the line. Galea's here. We can already see this one's not going to be in time. So yeah, we're not going to need too much money for that. So let's just go ahead and do the 250. Because we still need the money for long swordsmen, long bowmen, musketmen. I don't think we can afford 500 here. Oh, and we wouldn't even consider it because the exchange rate is identical. So yeah, let's just do that. All right. Now ally of Antwerp, assuming that she doesn't pay them off to get them right back, we'll get credit for porcelain, and then we'll get a boost to culture, which in the rationalism, at the point of rationalism, is actually science. Okay, 2 more movement points. We can't land here because of hand axe, so I guess we stay in the water 1 more turn. Let's see here. 1, 2. Ooh, we need Japan. And Japan has a unique luxury too. So when we do get our whales back, we can trade with him instead of Monty, get the ones back from Ethiopia, and that's happiness, happiness, happiness. Or maybe we trade both whales away in preparation of conquering 3 more. I think that makes more sense, because right now the excess happiness just means we get closer to a golden age, and I don't see that as a problem. And look at that, Kyoto is right here. We're literally right on top of it. So this will help. This is probably the continent, and both of our boats are right here. So this will help as far as trying to get their scouting to match. We do end up in deep water. Very good. And let's see here. We got 1 tile up here. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So I think we can come down to... Whoops. Let's not, because of that landmass there. Oh, is that... we have 3 movement points left. This gets us into deep water, and there's not much more we can see here, I don't think. We'd have to come all the way up here, just have a downward angle to look inland. I don't think that's necessary. Okay, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, same story. We'll have him hop up here with the intention of putting a lumber camp here, a lumber mill there, and if this opens up, we'll have him hop in the water, get over here, and do that. And he's just going to finish up here. And then if this worker does go down here, then he can come over and do the lumber mills. Seems good. Head and due west to pick up that. The fact that we missed that tile won't matter. Wow, what a strong note to end on. I'm very pleased at all that turn of events. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I think we have a very solid action plan. Let me know what you guys think about my estimation of his tech, his military. I don't think we're going to be able to outdo him without having some boats to, like, help protect Hastings, or perhaps start whittling his... Oh, look, he's got even another coastal city, which is actually good, because we could just conquer this one pretty easy. It's the newest one, and use that as a base of operations on both coasts. And it's a canal. That'll be a really good jumping off point, just to be able to say, hey, come at me, and, you know, shoot down his units. So yeah, I think we're onto something here. Finally be able to turn this into something really, really strong. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.